Good morning, students. Welcome to the Science 1 class. In this video, we are going to learn about metallurgy. Only few elements present in the periodic table will be obtained in the pure form, and most of the elements are obtained in the combined form from the earth crust. Metals are not found in their native state or free state when obtained from the earth crust. It will be combined with the non-metals. Some metals are present even in our body. Few examples are potassium, sulfur, sodium, chlorine, magnesium, etc. And metals are essential for the human usage. As metals are obtained in the combined state from the earth crust, these metals can be separated through certain process, and studying about extraction of metals is termed as metallurgy. So the definition for the metallurgy is a science of extracting metals from their ores and modifying the metals into alloys for various uses. Alloys are formed with the metals. For example, aeroplane parts are made with aluminium. Why aluminium is used? Because aluminium is the lightest metal. And to enhance the strength of the aluminium metal, metals like nickel and copper are mixed with it to form an alloy. That's why in the definition it is said that modifying the metals into alloys for various uses. Now it's clear that metallurgy is separation of metals from their ores. Here, the metallurgical process follows three main steps. Step 1. Concentration or separation of the ore. In this step, undesirable materials or impurities like sand, stones, etc. will be removed, and this is said to be concentration of the ore. Step 2. Production of the metal. Metals will be obtained in the combined state, that is with the non-metals. It can be in the form of metal oxides, metal sulfide, metal halide, metal carbonate, etc. In this step, we will be separating the metal from its ore. That is, separation of oxide, sulfide, halide, carbonate, etc. from the metal. Step 3. Refining of the metal. After removing oxide, sulfide, halide, carbonate, etc. from the metal in the second step, further impurities will be removed and the metal will be purified in this step. Therefore, these three steps are involved in the metallurgical process. Next concept is terminology in metallurgy. Here, we will learn about some basic terminology in metallurgy. First, we will learn about minerals and ores, metals and non-metals. Whatever it may be, everything is obtained from earth crust. So whatever we are getting from the earth, they are called as minerals. A mineral may be a single compound or a complex mixture. Next term is ore. Minerals which contain metals in large scale. We know that whatever we are getting from the earth crust, that can be called as minerals. In the taken mineral, the metal which is present in the large scale, that is, it should be readily and economically extracted. Such mineral is said to be an ore. Let's understand the terms minerals and ores with an example. China clay is said to be the mineral of aluminium and bauxite as the ore of aluminium. Both China clay and bauxite can be called as minerals. But China clay cannot be called as ore. Only bauxite is the ore. And the reason is the percentage of aluminium which we get from the China clay is lesser, while the percentage of aluminium obtained from the bauxite is larger. That's why bauxite is said to be the ore of aluminium. Next terminology is mining. We know that from the earth crust we are obtaining the minerals, and the process is termed as mining. So the process of extracting the ores from the earth crust is called mining. Next term, gangue or matrix. From the earth crust, we are extracting the ore and the impurities, that is soil, sand, etc. present along with an ore is called as gangue or matrix. Next term, flux. To remove the impurities of the ore, a substance is added to the ore, and that substance is called as flux. When we add flux to an ore, fusion temperature of the gangue get reduced. That is, gangue which will melt at 1000 degrees Celsius will melt at 500 degrees Celsius when flux is added. Infusible state gangue is converted to fusible state gangue by adding flux. Flux are of two types, acidic flux and basic flux, depending on the nature of the gangue, that is impurities. If it is acidic, basic flux should be used. In case if the nature of the gangue is basic, acidic flux should be used. Next term, slag. We learned that infusible state gangue is converted to fusible state gangue by adding flux. And this fusible product is called slag. So, combination of flux and gangue is slag. Next term, smelting. In this process, impurities in its molten condition are removed as slag by the addition of flux. Now, let's move on to the next topic, types of separation or concentration of an ore. In the metallurgical process, we learnt about three main steps. And first step is concentration or separation of the ore. That is, removal of impurities from the ore. There are different types of ores: oxide ores, carbonate ores, halide ores, sulfide ores, etc. So, depending on the types of ores, methods of separation also differs. The different methods of separation are hydraulic method or gravity separation, magnetic separation method, froth flotation, chemical method or leaching. Now, let's learn about hydraulic method. In hydraulic classifier method, ores are separated using platform with wedges placed slantingly. Ores are placed in the platform and water will be allowed to flow through it. So, the lighter particles or lighter gangue will be washed away by the water and the heavier particles or ore will settle down. This method of separation is called hydraulic method or gravity separation. Why it is called as gravity separation method? The heavier particles with high specific gravity will settle down and the particles with low specific gravity will be washed away by the water. Because of this reason, it is called as gravity separation method. So the principle of this method is difference in the densities or specific gravities of the ore and the gangue. Using hydraulic method, oxide ores like hematite, even gold can be separated from its ore by removing the impurities and the metal can be purified. The second method is magnetic separation method. In the magnetic separation method, two rollers are connected by a conveyor belt. Crushed ore will be dropped through a funnel placed above the rollers. Here, one roller is made of magnetic material and other one made of non-magnetic material. When crushed ore is dropped on the rollers, magnetic roller will attract the magnetic particles and magnetic particles will fall near the magnetic roller and non-magnetic particles will fall separately apart from the magnetic roller. By this method, we can separate magnetic particles from the non-magnetic particles. The principle of this method is either the ore or the gangue should be magnetic. For example, tin stone can be separated by this method. In the tin stone, wolframite impurities will be present. And wolframite is magnetic in nature and thereby will be attracted by the magnetic roller. As tin stone is a non-magnetic material, it can be collected separately. Okay students, that's all for today's class. In this video, we have learnt about metallurgical process, terminology in metallurgy, hydraulic method and magnetic separation method. Thank you students. Have a good day.